Thank you. You all may be seated. Mr. Thomas, call your next witness.
The state of Texas calls Joshua Brown.
Mr. Hermes, you changed.
Got a lot prettier, didn't I?
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. Please have a seat. Do you recall that I previously swore you under oath?
Yes, ma'am.
You're still under oath to tell the truth, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Please state your name for the record.
Joshua Brown.
And is that common spelling?
Joshua-Brown.
Joshua, how old are you?
I'm 28.
28 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
And where are you originally from?
Jacksonville, Florida.
And when did you move to Texas?
2008.
Did you graduate high school?
Yes, ma'am.
What high school did you graduate from?
Crossroads.
Did you attend college?
Yes, ma'am.
And what college did you attend?
South Florida.
And what was your primary studies in?
Interdisciplinary science.
How many years of college did you complete?
4 years.
Okay. And what did you do once you graduated?
Continued to train and try to play football, and ended up picking up a job. After I graduated college, I started doing roofing. So I was a roofing contractor for a few years.
And what kind of work do you do now?
I've tried to run in my own business. I manage Airbnbs, and that's about it right now. I manage like 4 Airbnbs, 2 in LA, 1 in Atlanta. I'm trying to get 1 in Dallas now, so that'll be the 4th one. Yeah, that's what I do now.
Okay. And Joshua, you've had some issues in the past with police officers in the criminal justice system, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in 2011, you had a misdemeanor theft conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then in 2016, you had a possession of controlled substance conviction?
Yes, ma'am.
That was a state jail felony?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I want to direct your attention to September 6th, 2018.
Okay.
Where were you residing at the time?
Southside Flats,
What was your apartment number?
1437.
Earlier that day, did you get a visit from the leasing office?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the court about that?
The leasing people came, knocked on our doors, and it was like they had a noise complaint. It was around like 2 p.m. It was kind of odd because there wasn't no noise.
Okay, and you say our doors. When you say our, who are you referring to?
Both the door. They came and knocked on me and Bo's door, and just that's how I actually met him, because he came out the door.
Okay. And that was on the day of September 6, 2018 at about 2 something in the afternoon?
Yeah, around like 1 or 2.
Okay. And you said it was for a purpose of a noise complaint, but there was no noise?
Right.
Okay. And that was your first time meeting both of them, John?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did y'all have a conversation that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What did y'all talk about?
Basically how me and Bo were both smoking weed, and we kind of knew that it was coming to our door because of maybe the scent of the weed.
Okay. And can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury where was your apartment in relation to Mr. John's apartment?
So if my apartment was right here, I could reach over. You know, Bo's apartment was probably like directly across from mine.
May I approach the witness, John?
Yes.
Now, Joshua, I'm showing you what's been marked and admitted as State's Exhibit 34B. Do you see your apartment on this location?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said what was your apartment number?
1437.
Okay. And so your apartment would have been directly across from Mr. John's apartment in 1478?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you said had a brief conversation. After that interaction, did you, I guess, leave the apartment?
Yeah. No, I went back inside and played the game, and
Okay.
then that was about it. I left later on that night
What was the purpose of you leaving later on that night?
to go watch a football game
And where did you watch that at?
at Bombshells.
And because this particular day was kickoff season to the NFL,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. The Falcons were playing. It was probably like a Thursday night game. Started the NFL season. Yeah,
And you remember the Falcons playing?
yeah. I think the Falcons and the Eagles were playing. I believe so.
Did you have any particular interest in any of those games?
Yeah, I know two. My cousin plays safety for the Falcons, and a friend of mine plays for the Eagles. So I just wanted to make sure I was there to watch the game.
Okay. And where did you watch the game at?
At Bombshells,
And where's that located?
like off 35.
It's like 35 at Empire Central up in that area?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you get to and from the game, Bombshells?
I took a lift. I knew I'd be having a few drinks, so I took a lift there and back.
When you returned to Southside Flats that evening, did you watch the entire game?
Nah, I left. No, ma'am. I left at halftime.
When you returned to Southside Flats that evening via lift, which way did you enter?
Through the elevator.
Okay. Was that the main elevator in the middle of the complex?
The elevator in the garage, in the parking garage.
May I approach you on?
Yes.
Your Honor, we have moved to
Of course.
May the witness step down, Your Honor?
Yes.
Joshua, step down for a second. Yes, sir. Is that better? Okay. And Joshua, I'm gonna have you stand to the side, kind of like Donna White here, so they can see what we're doing, okay? Now, you say you entered to the parking garage. Does this look like a layout of the apartment complex, the Southside Flats? Can you orientate yourself?
This should be the front. Yeah, come out from the mall. This come out the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And based on this diagram, states exhibit 34A, do you recognize where your apartment is located?
Yeah, right here.
Mr. Brown, can you please raise your voice?
Yes, ma'am. It's right here to the top.
Okay, indicating
37.
1437. Okay. Now, you said you came up through the parking garage and got off the elevator. Where does that elevator drop you off at?
I'll park it right here.
This is the elevator?
Yeah, this will be the elevator. And this will probably be what I come out at.
I'm sorry, sir.
She can't hear me. She'll take you down.
This will be the elevator, and this will be for the hallway where I walk to my door.
Okay. So when you started to come down this main hallway, what do you hear?
When I get about right here.
And is that where the two hallways meet to make the turn?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
When I get about right here, it's kind of when I hear like what I would describe as two people meeting each other on a surprise. So I'm assuming, the door's open and two people meet, and then I hear the two gunshots go off.
Okay. So let's stop there for a second. You said when you get to the conjunction between the two hallways, you hear what sounds like two people meeting by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
And what made you think that it was two people meeting by surprise?
Cause I couldn't make out what either one of them was saying. I couldn't tell y'all today that what either one of them was saying. It was like it wasn't English, so but I just knew it was two people meeting, two human beings meeting. So that's the only way I could describe it.
Okay. Was it two separate voices?
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell if one of the voices was giving loud commands like stop, police, or anything of that nature?
Yeah, but no, that wasn't what they were saying.
That's not what you heard?
No.
Okay. However, you say you didn't hear exactly what you heard.
No, I can't say I heard any any type of words that I can make out.
Okay. Once you, in that conjunction between the two hallways, and hear the voices and the pop, how soon after the voices did you hear the sounds of gunshots?
Right after.
Right after?
Right after.
It was
right after.
quick?
Quick.
And the two gunshots you heard, were they quick?
They were quick.
Okay. What did you do when you heard the two gunshots?
I ran back out of here.
Okay. Fair enough. And so you ran back out toward the elevator area?
Right here, because I can see my door from right here. So I ran here, about right here, to look and see if I could see somebody in my apartment.
Okay, because this courtyard is open air courtyard, correct? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can see directly across.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're looking to see if someone is in your apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how long did you stay in this particular area of the garage?
I seen a guy come out. I seen other people come out of the area, and I asked them, with those gunshots that I heard, they all said yes. So probably like within 2 minutes, I put it in my head, like I still got my dog in my room. So I went back, walked back over there.
Okay, so you start walking back towards your apartment down the same corridor. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then did you make the corner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once you made the corner, did you observe anybody in the immediate area of your apartment?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did it look like there was any disruption in this immediate area of your apartment?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you proceed into your apartment at 1437?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You may take your seat. So Joshua, when you get into your apartment, what was the next thing you did?
The first thing I did was just checked on my dog, make sure everything was straight, and honestly, I went over the balcony and kind of like turned my game on and went off the balcony.
Okay, and when you went over to the balcony, did you see anything when you looked outside the balcony?
I seen like, it took a minute, but then I seen her come out.
And when you say her, you pointed over towards the defense table.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you see the defendant, Amber Guyger, come out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What did you observe her doing?
Just on the phone.
Okay. And were you on your balcony looking out the balcony door, or were you looking out the window?
I was looking at the balcony, and then I went to the window.
And you see her on the phone. Can you describe her demeanor?
She was crying, explaining what happened, what she thought happened, saying she came into the wrong apartment, and that was about it.
Do you recall, Joshua, how long you were inside your apartment before you heard the defendant in the hallway?
Probably like 2-3 minutes.
At some point, did you go to your front door?
Yeah, I kept looking out my front door.
Did you open the door, or were you looking out the peephole?
I was looking at the peephole.
And when you're looking out the peephole, what do you see?
I just see her like going back and forth on the phone, and then I think she went back inside, then came back out.
When she comes back out, has other officers arrived?
At this time, I'm not sure, because I think I seen some more officers, but I seen officers in the courtyard when I was on the balcony, so they didn't get there. By the time, like, She got that. She came out her room. I mean, she came out onto the hallway and met the officers. That was what you asking? Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just trying to make sure I understand. The first time you see the defendant, she's on the, I guess, in the walkway, you're on the balcony, and she's on the phone. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then she goes back into the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you see her exit out of the apartment again?
Yes.
Okay. Had you ever seen the defendant before on your floor?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever seen her in the apartment complex?
No, ma'am.
Had you met the complainant before that day?
The complainant, you mean?
Both?
Both? Yeah. Yes. Well, I met him that day.
Okay. Had you ever seen him in the building before that day?
No, I can't say I can't say I seen him. I heard him in there.
Okay. When you say you heard him, what did you mean?
Heard him singing every morning.
Okay. You heard him singing. What kind of things did you hear him sing?
Gospel music, Drake.
And your door is directly across the hall from where Mr. Jones' apartment was, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so in the mornings, were you inside of your apartment when you heard Mr. Jones singing, or outside of your apartment?
I'll probably hear him when I come out, lock my door. I'll hear him.
Okay. So from in the hallway, you can hear his activities inside his apartment? Yes? You have to say it out loud, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Now approach your honor.
Yes. Here.
Thank you. And we can take a moment, Joshua. This is fine. We're not in a rush, okay?
Yeah, we need a moment.
Deputy Johnson, she's on you retired.
All right.
All rise.
Thank you. You want me to proceed? Yes, please.
So Joshua, I want to clear something up. You said when you hit the corner between the two hallways, you heard what sounded like commotion or surprise, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it said that you heard voices that were kind of inaudible.
Like two voices mixing together at the same time, so that I couldn't make out what either one of them was saying.
Do you recall ever hearing someone say, "Hey, put your hands up," at a loud tone?
No, ma'am.
Or "Show me your hands,"
No, ma'am.
or giving any type of those other commands that you would hear police say on TV?
No, ma'am.
Can I approach you?
Yes.
Joshua, I'm going to have you put your name on the sticker on where your apartment is located on this particular board so we can have our future references. And that's on State's Exhibit 34B.
Mr. Brown, my name's Robert Rogers. I just have a few questions for you.
Okay.
And so, just to be clear, when you're about to come around that corner, you definitely hear two voices, correct?
Yes, sir.
And they're mixing together, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you can't say what was said in that apartment, correct?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
And then you hear the two gunshots, and like anyone would, you took off.
Yes, sir.
Earlier that day, when with this so-called noise complaint, that's the first time you met Mr. John, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were either of y'all annoyed by it, or was it just whatever?
Just like surprise. Somebody knocked at our door.
Had the leasing, did you know who they were? Had you seen them before? Did you know their names?
The leasing people?
Right.
Yeah, I knew who they were.
Okay. But was there any annoyance by either of y'all? Were y'all annoyed by it, or did you just blow it off, or do you recall?
I just blew it off.
And that's the first time you had ever met Mr. John, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you never met Miss Guyger, correct?
Yes, sir.
With regard to, you talked about, you went back to your apartment and you were talking about time, like whether it was 2 to 3 minutes or things like that. Obviously, you didn't have a timer. This is a very startling event, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you just know some time elapsed, you went back and looked at the people, some time elapsed, you went back and looked at the people, and you described what you saw, correct?
Right.
Once a lot of police officers arrived, did they knock on your door?
Yes.
And there was a police officer, do you remember he was in like a bike officer's uniform?
Yes, sir.
That asked you some questions?
Yes, sir.
And at the time you responded to those, were you still affected by the stress of what had just happened to you?
Yeah.
No, ma'am. That's the witness.
Just brief.
Go ahead.
Joshua, how long had you lived at that apartment?
A few months, probably like 4 months.
Okay. And had you ever gone to the wrong floor before?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you went to the wrong floor, how did you know you were on the wrong floor?
I went to the wrong floor on a few occasions. One particular time I can remember when I first moved there, I went all the way to the wrong door. I even put my key in the thing, and then I seen it wasn't. And another occasion, I knew that I wasn't on the right floor because as soon as I got to the corner, it's a big vase on the 3rd floor that let me know that I was on the wrong floor. So that's how I kind of knew that from just like the decorations and stuff.
Okay. Now let's talk about that big vase. On the 3rd floor, when you say you got to the corner, would that be the same corner that meets the 2 hallways, but just on the 3rd level versus the 4th level?
Yes, ma'am.
So at this particular day, when you say you actually put your key into the wrong door, that was trying to get into, I guess, 1337 versus 1437?
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you say once you got another time, there's a big vase when you turn that corner.
Right.
Okay, and that's when you recognize, wait a minute, I'm on the wrong floor.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Pass
Is there a recross, Mr. Rogers?
No further questions.
May you be excused.
No objection.
No judge conversation.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Be excused.
United States, Texas calls Ronald Jones.
Mr. Jones, please raise your hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. Thank you for being here today.
Good afternoon.
What do you do for a living, sir?
Coach and teach
Okay, what do you teach?
chemistry.
Chemistry. How long have you done that?
I've done that for 10 years now.
Okay, what grades?
I have 10 and 11th grade.
10th and 11th?
Yes.
Okay. My wife is an educator, so I know what you guys have to do, and I greatly appreciate your service. Is that something that you enjoy?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what do you coach?
Football.
You enjoy that?
Yeah, I love it.
That takes a lot of time, though, I imagine. You got to get there pretty early, especially when it's hot outside.
Yeah, it's pretty long days.
Okay. How's your team doing?
We're doing good. Lost a couple games, but we'll be fine.
Okay. Looks better coming forward?
Yes.
The forward looks bright?
Yes.
Okay, good. I know coaches are always eternally optimistic, right? You have to be. Okay. Did you live at the Southside Flats back in September of 2018?
Yes.
But you don't live there anymore, is that right?
No, I moved.
Okay. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 34A. Would you step down for me, Judge? Do I have your permission for him to step down briefly?
Yes.
Okay. So if this is the parking garage, do you live in 1425 right here at the end of the courtyard?
Yes.
Okay. So for you, there's 2 entrances, I guess, to this horseshoe shape.
Yes.
Your fastest entrance would be down here at the end to come in along here. Is that right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Very good. Have a seat. Thank you. How long did you live there?
I moved in August.
Okay, so you've just been there for about a month and a half.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of vehicle do you drive?
It's Ford F-150.
Okay. And for that particular apartment complex, did you have to, when you got home that evening, did you have to use a key fob in order to get through the parking gate?
No,
How's that?
the gate was open.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification. That State's Exhibit 258, 259, and 260. Are those going to be, is that going to be your truck coming through the carport? and then into the parking garage at your complex,
Yes.
okay? And the timestamp on the particular photograph shows 9:50 for the carport and almost 9:51 for garage entry into the actual garage, the gated portion of the garage. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if those are off about 3 minutes and 25 seconds, would that make your arrival about 9:53, 9:54?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, but the timestamp for right now, for what we know at this moment in time, is you came in about 9:50.
Yes.
Okay. And does that fairly and accurately depict your vehicle as it looks and as you remember driving through the carport and into the garage?
Yes, sir.
Our offer states 258, 259, and 260.
Sorry. Is there an objection?
No objection.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Bear a minute.
Not published, Judge.
Yes.
So 258. That's going to be you driving into the carport area off of Lamar Street.
Yes.
Okay. That's a very nice truck. What is that?
It's a Ford F-150.
State's exhibit number 259. That's just another depiction, basically the same area. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then 260, is that going to be you going through the gate portion, and then it goes around, I guess, like a circle all the way up to the 5th floor of the parking garage? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So again, for right now, this is either going to be 21:50, or if this is off about 3.5 minutes, 21:53, 21:54, sometime in that area, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if a vehicle had come in at 9:46 p.m., that would have been before you arrived. Is that correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay. All right, we'll pick that one up later. When you pulled into the parking garage, what did you do?
I drove to my floor and parked on my floor.
Okay, and what floor did you park on?
On the 4th floor.
You remember where you parked on the 4th floor?
Right by that one entrance you showed, right where I parked right by my doorway. So there's an entryway, and it leads kind of directly to the apartment. So basically the closest parking spot to my apartment.
Okay, what did you do after you parked?
I sat there, got my stuff together, and then eventually got out.
All right. And when you got out, were you then walking towards the doorway that leads to the complex portion here towards, there's a railway line back here, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay. So after parking, did you park in this general area right there?
Yes.
Okay. You walk through the entrance here into your apartment.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a balcony that has an open door, or you can open the door to the courtyard?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so as you were walking there, or as you were getting out of your truck, did you see anything that was a little bit out of the ordinary to you?
I noticed an officer, and I hadn't seen an officer on my floor.
Okay. Before you actually noticed it was an officer, did you notice a vehicle that kind of brought itself to your attention?
Yes, it was a white truck.
Okay, like a pickup truck?
Yes.
And what was it about the truck that made you pay attention to it?
Because it was going fast around the corner, and driving a big truck, I used to slow down, but they were driving fast, so it kind of caught my eye.
Okay, so it was just something that was different, and so you paid attention to it?
Yes, sir.
All right, did you give it much thought, though?
At that time, no.
Okay, so you see a white truck coming around the corner. Was it coming around the corner to park on a level 4 at the same place as you were?
Yes.
All right, did the vehicle park, do you recall?
Yes, it did.
Okay, anything unusual about the parking, or did you not notice that?
I mean, back then.
Hold on one second, we may have something to talk about.
Whose phone is it? Was it George?
Can I proceed, Judge?
Yes, please.
So you saw the vehicle come up. The vehicle, did you pay any mind to the parking of it, or were you just moving along to your apartment at that
I
point?
mean, I was really just moving along. I mean, I just noticed it pull in and back in. That's really it.
Okay, the vehicle backed in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did it back in kind of more towards the main entrance?
Yes.
Or the entrance by the elevator?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see the person who got out of that white pickup truck?
Yes.
Was it a male or a female?
Female.
Okay, and that was that person dressed like a police officer?
Yes.
All right, did that stand out to you?
Yes, it did. Cause it just caught my eye because I hadn't seen it, so obviously it would catch my eye.
Okay, so again, it's something different,
Yes.
that because of the difference, you made note of it.
Yes.
All right. Incidentally, this was September 6th, school's in session, right?
Yes, it was.
What time do you go to work in the mornings?
Usually get there around 6:50, 7 o'clock.
6:50, 7 a.m.?
Yes.
And what were you doing all the way up until about 9:50, 9:55?
We had after school, usually have practice, and we have a varsity practice, and we had a JV game. So I was at the JV game, and I left that game. That's where I was coming from.
Okay, so did you get to school a little bit before the 6:50 start time? Or is that when you get to school?
Usually right around 6:50.
All right, so you work that day from 6:50 in the morning and you're getting home at 9:50, 9:55 p.m.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Is that common, especially when games are being played and you're coaching?
Yes, that's a normal day.
All right. So you walk to 1425. Well, let me just ask this. I'm taking that for granted. Was there anything else about anything that you saw that made you think, that's different? Or did you just go to your apartment then?
Like I said, I just noticed it was an officer walking in. I saw she had a bag, and I just kind of saw it and went to my apartment.
All right. Did you notice, was she talking on the phone or anything?
I didn't notice.
Okay. Did she have anything in her hand?
She had a bag in her left arm.
In her left hand.
Yes.
Okay. You go to your apartment. What do you do when you get to your apartment?
Just go in, and I think I actually was about to cook me something to eat.
Okay. What happened then?
And then I heard gunshots.
Okay. How many gunshots do you remember?
2.
Okay. Were you actually for sure? Did you hear 2 or 3, or did you just know it was multiple gunshots?
It was multiple gunshots.
Okay. Were they fast?
Yes.
Like bang bang?
I couldn't tell you. They were close enough. They were close to each other, but I couldn't tell you exactly.
Okay. Did you recognize it immediately as being gunshots?
Yes.
All right. Are you familiar with the sound of a gunshot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what did you think when you heard the gunshots?
Honestly, first thing I thought was, hey, I'm paying this money, staying in these apartments, and there's shooting. So, and I kind of heard it, and that's what I thought, and then I just went along with what I was doing.
Okay. And then did you, a couple of minutes later, some minutes later, did you hear voices?
Yes.
Was it a male or a female voice?
Female voice.
And what did you hear the female voice saying to the best of your recollection?
It was saying that there was someone in my apartment. Just kept repeating that.
Someone in my apartment?
Yeah.
And repeating that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember anything else being said?
That's really all that I could recollect that I actually heard.
Okay.
Because it was a lot, when it happened, it was a lot of commotion. But that's what I heard.
Okay. Did you hear, prior to the shooting, did you hear any kind of screaming, or have you ever seen TV, or I don't even know in your real life, have you ever seen where police have given loud commands to somebody that they want to get control over, like get on the ground or show me your hands, commands to that effect that are loudly spoken to get compliance?
Yes.
Did you hear anything like that before the shots were fired?
No, sir.
Okay. Just the shots, and then several minutes later you heard a female voice talking about wrong apartment.
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Jones, I'm John Snyder. I'm going to ask you a few questions. So on the 6th, you recall getting home to your apartment complex?
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned that when you were driving into the apartment, you noticed a white pickup. Where was the pickup in relation to you?
After I had parked, that's when I noticed the white pickup.
Did you see the pickup before you stopped?
I saw the pickup after I parked.
Where was the pickup?
On the 4th floor.
Was it in front of you, behind you?
I saw it behind me.
So the white pickup was coming in the garage after you, is that correct?
I didn't say that. I said I saw it after I parked.
And then what did you notice after you parked?
I noticed how the white pickup was driving.
And you said you saw the pickup back into a parking spot, is that correct?
Yes.
And then, did you notice who was driving the pickup?
Yes.
Was it a uniformed police officer?
Yes.
Is that why you noticed it?
Well, I noticed, you saying did I notice it as they were driving?
No, is that why you noticed who was driving the truck, because they were in uniform?
I noticed them when she got out the pickup.
Okay. And you talked to some investigators after September the 6th, correct?
Yes.
You remember telling them that you noticed she was in uniform and you paid attention because you didn't realize there was a police officer that lived on your floor?
Yes.
Right. And so you got out of your pickup or you parked your truck. Did you notice the white pickup before you got out of your truck?
I just said that.
So you noticed it before you got out of your truck?
Yes, after I parked,
Okay.
I saw it pull up behind.
So what did you do once you get your stuff gathered up? Is that correct?
Yes.
And then, so what kind of stuff do you have to gather?
Just coaching gear, bags, that's a
You got all stuff in a duffel bag or something?
backpack.
Okay. So you grab that. Does that take very long?
It takes as long as I'm taking.
It's just a bag, right?
It's a bag, my phone, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. It's multiple things. If you're asking for the exact thing that I was picking up, I couldn't tell you exactly.
Okay. So, but you get your things. It doesn't take too long when you get out of the truck and you start to walk to out of the garage. Is that right?
Out of the garage or into the corridor?
Well, you got to leave the garage to get to your apartment, correct?
Yeah.
So that's what you do. You get your things and you start to walk out of the garage, correct?
Yes.
And then you walk, and as you're walking to the garage, do you notice the female police officer walking as well?
Yes.
Okay, and you told the investigators that you spoke to that she was carrying some items, is that right?
Yes.
And you told them that she wasn't on her phone, is that right?
I'm not gonna, I couldn't tell you if she was on the phone or not. I remember she was carrying a bag.
And you told them that she was walking kind of quickly?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went into an entrance to the complex, and that she went into a different entrance, correct?
Yes.
And so then do you go directly to your apartment?
Yes.
You don't stop along the way, you go straight into your apartment, correct?
Yes.
And you go inside, you close and lock the door, is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember what you were doing once you got into your apartment?
Usually when I get in, I find me something to eat. When is that going?
So maybe you're in the kitchen area?
Yes, I was in the kitchen area.
You use the microwave or something like that?
Looking in the refrigerator.
Looking in the refrigerator? And then you said you heard some gunfire?
Yes, sir.
And how long were you inside your apartment approximately before you heard the gunfire?
How long I was in my apartment, how long did it take me to get from my truck into my apartment before I heard the gunshot?
Once you got into your apartment, you closed and you locked your door, and then you said you're in the kitchen looking in the refrigerator because you're going to eat something, correct?
Yes.
And then from that time, from the time you got in your apartment, about how much time went by until you heard this gunfire you heard?
Approximately a couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. And do you remember telling an investigator that you weren't sure of how many shots you heard?
Possibly, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I've talked to multiple investigators.
Okay. And so you heard the shots. And then, do you remember what you did at that point?
I just sat, just kind of continue what I was doing until I heard a voice, until I heard the scream.
And that's when you said you heard a female
voice, yeah.
correct? Did you ever go outside? Like,
No.
Immediately after the gunfire?
No.
Okay. Did you go out on, you have a balcony there, correct?
Yes.
Did you go out on the balcony?
I did look out the door. I didn't go stand out there, but I looked out the door.
Did you open the door, you looked through the peephole, or what?
I cracked the door.
You cracked the door, and you looked out?
Yes.
Did you see something?
I think I seen the officer.
Okay. Did you keep it open very long?
Not long.
And so you told Mr. Hermans that you lived there at the time of about September 6th. You've been living there at Southside Flats for about a month, right?
Yes.
During that time, did you ever have any problems with your door? The mechanical problems with the door lock or the front door closing?
No.
You remember telling an investigator that sometimes when you would try to lock your door, you'd have to shake it to get it to lock? Do you remember that?
Shake my door?
Did you talk to a Texas Ranger?
Yes.
You remember telling the Texas Ranger, in response to one of his questions, that sometimes when you're on the inside trying to lock your door, that you have to shake it a little bit to get it to lock?
I mean, I don't remember saying it. Could have been a misunderstanding, but
Talking to a Texas Ranger on the telephone, correct?
yes.
Do you remember that they were calling, Texas Rangers called you several times, and then you did call Ranger Claude Daniels back
Yes.
to speak with him? You ever notice anyone, you remember the Ranger Daniels asking you a question about if there's any crime that you've been aware of at Southside Flats? Do you remember that?
Slightly.
You remember in response to Ranger Daniels' questions,
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the form of the question in the examination. The use of it, and if I may,
No, it's not necessary because I fail to see the relevance of this line of questioning. Sustained. Please move on, Mr. Snyder.
pass the witness, ma'am.
Is there a redirect?
I have nothing else. Thank you, Mr. Jones. I appreciate your time, sir.
May he be excused?
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
No objection.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I swear.
Please make yourself comfortable.
Sure. Thank you.
Can you state your name and please help me spell it?
Sure. My name is Bharath Madamanchi. I can spell it for you.
Please.
B as in ball, H as in Harry, A as in alpha, R as in Romeo, A as in alpha, T as in Tom, H as in Harry, A as in alpha, M as in Mary, A as in alpha, R as in Romeo, N as in Nancy, A as in alpha, T as in Tom, H as in Harry. My last name is Madamanchi. M as in Mary, A as in alpha, D as in David, A as in alpha, M as in Mary, A as in alpha, N as in Nancy, C as in Charles, H as in Harry, I as in India.
Thank you very much.
Sure, no problem.
Can I proceed, Judge?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Madamanchi. Thank you for being here.
Sure, no problem.
Would you let the ladies and gentlemen of the jury know what it is that you do for a living?
I work as a software engineer
Okay.
for City Info Solutions. That's my employer, and the client is USAA, United Services Automobile Association.
Okay.
So it's predominantly an insurance-based company, but it has like in a lot of other business as well.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you to do something for me. You have a little bit of an accent.
Mhm.
If you could speak slowly,
Mhm.
so that that's my problem. I need to understand you. So,
Sure.
I would greatly appreciate if you would do that courtesy.
Mhm.
I want. Oh, okay. And this time it's not me. I need you to pull the microphone a little bit more towards you because you're soft-spoken. Okay.
Okay.
Good deal. All right. This should be pretty quick. You ever testified before?
Yes.
You've testified in a court before?
No.
Oh, okay. So this is your first time?
Yes.
You enjoying it?
Kind of.
Okay. I want to go back to September the 6th of 2018. Back in September of 2018, did you live at the Southside Flats?
I did.
Okay. Were you there with your family?
Yes, my wife and myself.
Your wife and your what?
My wife and myself.
Oh, okay. All right. And did you live in apartment number 1474?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, can I approach the witness?
Yes.
Mr. Madamanchi, this is, oh goodness, this is the back hallway of the apartment complex, sorry guys, along Powhatan Street, okay?
Mhm.
And would this indicate 1474, is this going to be the location of your apartment?
Correct.
Can I put a sticker there to indicate that?
Yes.
All right. So how long had you lived in apartment 1474?
If I remember correctly, I moved in on April 30th, I guess. And I moved out in October second week. By 22nd of October, I was completely out of that apartment.
Say that last part again.
I moved in like April 30th of 2018,
Okay.
and I moved out completely by October 22nd of 2018.
2018, okay. So in September, you had been there April, May, June, July, August, 5-6 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you home on the evening of September the 6th, 2018?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall hearing what you later learned to be gunshots on that particular evening?
Yes.
What were you doing when you heard those gunshots?
I was having a Skype video call with my father. He lives in India.
Okay. And were the gunshots fast one after another?
Yeah, probably within seconds.
Okay. And do you remember there before that, do you remember anything immediately before? I'm not talking about minutes before, but before you heard the gunshots, did you hear any loud voices like verbal commands?
No.
Did you hear anything like, get on the ground, show me your hands? You have to say it out loud, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Are you familiar, have you ever seen like police when they're dealing with an individual they want to get control over, where they give loud verbal commands to somebody ordering them to do something?
Probably from the movies, but not real time.
Fair enough. Did you hear that before the shots were fired?
No, I haven't heard anything.
Several minutes before, I think, when you were talking to the Rangers, did you say that you just, tell me what it is that you heard. I think you've told...
Yeah, a few minutes before, I guess. I'm not specific on timing, but there is slight disturbance.
Speak slowly for me, though.
A few minutes before, there is slight disturbance that caught the attention, but yeah, but I haven't come out or did anything like that. Usually it's pretty calm apartments,
Yeah.
so heard some sort of slight noise or disturbance.
Okay. Is there any reason to think that that had anything to do with the gunshots?
No.
Okay. And do you remember indicating that was several minutes before you heard the gunshots?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk to you about the doors. You know, we've had several witnesses that live there, and I've just neglected to ask somebody. So the way that the doors are set up at the Southside Flats, do you have like a handle at the bottom?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so.
Okay. Do you not remember how the doors are set up?
They're programmed, so you put in a key and you turn it. If it is not your key, it will blink red, and if it is your key, you can see it blinks green. And then once you turn in, I'm not sure on the handle, like how exactly the handle is and all, but you open the door and you go in, and if you leave the door, it will just shut with a bit of a sound because of the weight.
Okay.
So if you want to hold it or have it open without getting closed, you need to put something or hold it. Otherwise, it will just close out with a bang.
Okay, so the door is either weighted or has a mechanism where it will at least attempt to close on its own?
Yes.
Okay. Here's, I guess, now I'm not doing this very well, but here's the question. If you walk into your apartment and if you don't turn the deadbolt, is the door open? Can a person just walk in?
Yeah, they need to still what sort of handle I cannot remember, but they still need to turn the handle to open the door or to push the door.
Right.
It's not like it's automatically open or anything like that.
No, and I get that. I understand that. The point that I'm still off trying to make, and it's been awful. If you have not engaged the deadbolt, in other words, the door doesn't lock itself, right?
No.
You have to lock it from the inside if you want it to be locked.
Correct.
Okay. That's what I wanted to ask.
Okay, that makes sense. I was trying to still remember on what deadbolt is, but yeah, that's correct.
Anyway, thank you so much.
No problem.
I'll pass the witness. Thank you for your time, Mr. Madamanchi.
Sure, no problem.
They may have some questions, okay?
Mr. Madamanchi?
Sure.
How'd I do? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I pronounce your name?
Yep.
Okay, very good. My name is Zach Horn. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
That's all right with you. Okay, very good. You testified that you were at home with your wife, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And can you tell me again what her name was?
Mary, that's her first name. Mary Manjira Bellamkonda, that's her complete
Can you
name.
spell that for me?
Sure.
I'm
M,
going to object to all this. Overruled. Go.
Thank you.
M as in Mary, A as in Alpha, R as in Romeo, Y as in Yak, that's her first name. Manjira, M as in Mary, A as in Alpha, N as in Nancy, J as in Jack, E as in Elephant, E as in Elephant, R as in Romeo, A as in Alpha. Her last name is B as in Ball, E as in Elephant, L as in Lamb, L as in Lamb, A as in Alpha, M as in Mary, K as in King, O as in Owl, N as in Nancy, D as in David, A as in Alpha.
You testified a few moments ago that at the time of the incident you were on a Skype call, correct?
Yes.
You were Skyping a family member?
My father, yes.
Okay. Is your father out of country?
He lives in India. He and my mother, they live in India.
Okay. So your attention prior to this incident, is it fair to say, was on talking to your father who's halfway across the world, correct?
Sir, can you answer yes or no?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you were at home with your wife, correct?
Correct.
And when you first heard the noises, is it fair to say that you weren't exactly sure whether or not what you were hearing were gunshots?
Yes. The first instant, I'm not sure. I doubted that. My wife thinks they're not gunshots, but I doubted when she said that.
Okay, so you're only 2 doors away. Mr. Hermes showed you the diagram of the apartment complex, correct?
Yes.
And you're just 2 doors away, correct?
Yes.
And from only 2 doors away, you weren't sure whether or not the sounds you were hearing were gunshots.
I thought they're gunshots,
Okay.
but my wife is not sure.
So there was
I was
some
telling her.
discussion.
Yeah, she asked, what do you think of them? I thought like they might be gunshots, but I'm hearing them for the first time in my life. So that's when I realized probably they're gunshots.
But in the time that you lived at the Southside Flats, did you or your wife ever park on the wrong floor?
I didn't park on the wrong floor, but my wife did park on the wrong floor once. That's what she said.
And in the time you were living there, explain to the jury, was there any confusion? Did you ever have any confusion whether or not you were on the 3rd floor of the parking garage or the 4th floor of the parking garage?
I haven't. I usually check on the elevators. They will have the numbers on which floor it is.
Could you understand how your wife would park on the wrong floor?
Judge, I'm going to object to speculation and hearsay.
Sustained.
Do you have any knowledge whether or not your wife ever went to the wrong apartment?
Judge, I'm going to object to speculation and hearsay.
Asking about knowledge.
He asked if he had any knowledge or wrong.
So what's the question again?
Do you have any knowledge as to whether or not your wife ever parked on the wrong floor of the parking garage?
Yeah, she parked once on the wrong floor, or like third floor. That's what she mentioned once.
Do you have any knowledge as to whether or not your wife ever approached the wrong apartment?
I'm not sure on that.
Is your wife a reasonable person?
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance.
Unless you can link that to something, I'm going to sustain his objection.
Pass away.
I have no other
Is there
questions.
no further, may he be excused?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Madamanchi.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
David Armstrong.
Raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Proceed, Judge.
Yes, please.
Sir, would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
My name is David Armstrong. I'm a Texas Ranger, Texas Department of Public Safety. Texas Rangers out of Company B here, stationed in Garland, Dallas County.
And were you part of the investigative team that was involved in the subsequent investigation of the shooting involving Amber Guyger, the defendant, and the complainant, both of them?
I was.
Okay. Did you do any background, like biographical background, on the defendant in this particular case?
Yes.
Okay. Do you happen to know how tall she is?
I believe 5'1".
All right. We'll give her. Approach the witness.
Yes.
I'm showing you a document that you submitted, I believe, or was part of the investigative material. Can you refresh your recollection?
Yes, sir. It's 5'3".
Okay.
I'll stand corrected.
Do you remember approximately how old she was at the time of this event?
Not offhand, no, sir.
Does 30 sound right?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall what her phone number is?
Not offhand, no, sir.
Okay. On September the 8th of 2018, did you go out to the crime scene on that particular date?
I did.
Okay. And can you tell me what locations at the Southside Flats you were looking at?
It was apartment 1478, yes, sir.
Okay. The first thing I'd like to talk to you about, did you notice, Ranger Armstrong, the doors to the apartments that are located at the Southside Flats, how the doors are, I guess, equipped with handles and locking mechanisms?
I did.
Okay. Tell the jury how the doors are set up at that particular apartment complex.
So for the door for 1478, I believe they're all consistent. The handle is what I would call passive. It does not lock or unlock. There's no locking mechanism to it. It just has a throw that will catch the door and hold it secure if it's all the way flush in the door frame. Above that is the deadbolt that accepts the key from the outside, and it has a lever on the inside to manually lock it from the inside. And above that, there's an additional deadbolt that is you cannot see from the outside.
Okay. And is that door going to remain open? When I say open, I mean not locked for someone to come and go unless one of the deadbolts are thrown either from the inside or the outside?
Yes.
So the handle that's located at the bottom, it doesn't have any locking feature?
That's correct.
So if a resident was there and they didn't want to lock the door would be open for persons who wanted to open the door.
Yes.
I want to show you States Exhibit number 39 and 40. States Exhibit number 39, is that going to be the lock audit report for apartment 1478?
It is.
And States Exhibit 40, is that going to be the lock audit report for apartment 1378?
It is.
Okay. When a key that is recognized by the locking mechanism, the first of the two deadbolts, from the outside, when the locking mechanism recognizes the key and will allow it to lock or unlock, does it record what's called an event?
It does.
All right. And are those events recorded for up to 200, and then the oldest one drops off?
Yes.
Okay. In this particular case, does this give us an indication of when there was lock or unlock events on September the 6th of 2018?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it doesn't, would you let the jury know, does it record, or does it indicate if a wrong key is entered? Does it have any kind of an indication for that?
I don't believe so.
And does the lock audit report, did you, in your investigation, did you find out that as far as the date is concerned and the time, were they off on the report that you actually had to find the answer to that by getting with the manufacturer, Dormakaba?
Yes.
Okay, Dormakaba is D-O-R-M-A-K-A-B-A?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain that to the jury, how it is that you were able to figure out the relative dates and times for each of these events?
Yes, we met with the Dormakaba representatives in Kentucky during this investigation, myself and Mr. Hermes and a DA investigator, Lenore, and one of their engineers explained to us that the host computer, that the device they use to transition the data from the host computer to the lock itself, that host computer is what gives the date and time stamp to the transition device to the lock. If that host computer's daylight savings time is not correct, it may throw the time on the lock audit report off by an hour, either up or down. They were able to show that to us, and I believe the engineer was able to write a computer script to correct that. I'm sorry, he did that for the date, because it showed 2012, but he did that for the date, for the year. So the date, the time, the day and the month was correct on the report, but the year showed 2012 instead of 2018. He wrote the computer script to correct the year, and he was able to tell us and show us that the time was off by an hour, give or take, depending on daylight savings.
Okay, so these locks, they have to be manually updated to reflect daylight savings times versus when it's not. Correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
And so unless there's an actual update, it's going to keep the same time until it's updated again.
That's correct.
So based on what you learned, and I was with you, I appreciate that you invited me out there, you learned basically a good approximation of when the events were on these particular doors.
Yes.
Starting with apartment number 1378. Going to September the 6th. Does it indicate that the only door lock event for apartment 1378 on September the 6th registered at 6:23 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay. When you reflect the change for the 1 hour, would that indicate about 7:23 a.m. as being when the resident of 1378 either locked or unlocked that door?
Yes,
No other events for September the 6th, is that correct?
that's correct.
For apartment 1478, going to September the 6th, there were a number of lock, unlock events that particular day. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would that be suggestive of the fact that the resident of 1478 locked and unlocked his door several times that day, perhaps running errands or so forth?
Yes, sir.
And the last lock event, would you agree, is going to be at, as recorded, 8:34 p.m. on September 6th?
Yes,
Again, when you adjust the time to include the adjustment for savings time, that would make it, if accurate, at 9:34 p.m.
correct.
All right. Do you have a reasonable degree of confidence that those times, as Dor Makaba explained them to us, are accurate with the 1 hour addition?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Explain to the jury what happens when you put in a key that the door lock recognizes.
You'll hear kind of an electromagnetic sound, basically the small motor inside the key lock. It sounds like it's actuating, and it sounds like it accepts the key, and if you turn it, it will allow you to turn it, and if it doesn't accept the key, it will not allow you to turn it.
Okay, and if you insert a key that the door lock does not recognize, what is the result?
It will not allow you to turn it.
Okay, is there a visual indicator as well?
Yes,
Do you have reason to believe that Ms. Guyger put her key into the door lock in both of John's apartment?
yes,
Okay, is that because from your investigation did you learn that the keys were found dangling or they were dangling when the officers first arrived as shown in body-worn cameras?
yes,
So unless his lock was just not working in that particular moment, later on when it was tested by Detective Ibarra and Richardson, it was working properly and was reflecting both the green and the red dots with the respective keys.
yes.
All right. Do you have any reason to believe his door was not acting as it should have been when Amber Guyger put her keys in that door?
Are you referring to the door or the doorknob? Or the
I'm referring
lock,
to
I'm sorry.
the door lock that takes the RFID key.
Okay, can you ask me that again?
Yeah, I'll try. Is there any reason for you to believe that when Amber Guyger put her key in that door, that it didn't indicate with a red dot?
No, sir.
Is that what you think is more likely than not would have happened?
Yes,
And in addition to the fact that it would have reflected a red dot, does it make, not a seriously loud, but does it make a noticeable sound when the key is put in and the lock will allow it to lock or unlock?
I would say it would depend on the conditions around you at that point. If there's ambient noise, you might not hear it. If it's very quiet, like it was when I was there and I heard that mechanism, then I would hear it, yes.
Okay. The light that's emitted, is it a red light? I've been calling it a red dot, but is it a red light?
Yes, it is, yes, sir.
Okay. As part of your follow-up investigation into this particular case, did you go around and ask residents at the apartment complex, first and foremost, whether or not they heard any information, or they heard the gunshots, or had any information to impart upon you about the shooting itself?
Yes,
All right. As part of that canvass, did you also ask whether or not residents had parked on the wrong floor or gone to the wrong apartment before?
yes,
Okay, and did you keep that information?
I did.
Did your investigation find that there was, and I've added the math up, about 23% of persons on the third and the fourth floor had actually gone to the wrong door and put their key in the door?
Yes,
what was some of the indications as to what made the individuals realize that they had gone to the wrong door?
The red light, not accepting the key, decorations that when they looked around, trying to figure out what happened, decorations that they realized were not their own. And looking at those decorations, some of them looked and saw that the apartment number was incorrect, things of that nature.
And as for the entire building put together, that number was 15% of residents had gone to the wrong apartment and tried to put their key into the wrong door.
That's correct.
Okay. Other than Amber Guyger, did any of those people ever, did any of those situations ever result in anybody being shot?
No, sir.
All right, I want to talk to you about relative times as far as entry is concerned. Have you seen Amber Guyger's pickup truck?
Yes.
Have you seen Botham Jean's car?
Yes.
I'm showing what's been marked for identification as States Exhibit 42 through 45. Can you tell me if those are going to be fair and accurate depictions of a vehicle that appear to resemble Botham Jean's car?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and does the time, once you adjust for the 1 hour on the door lock event, are they going to be very close in time so that those numbers might suggest or affirm the fact that this is Botham Jean's vehicle entering?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to show you States Exhibit number 46 through 49. Do you recognize that to be the defendant's pickup truck?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how is it you're aware of what the defendant's vehicle looks like?
I would like to answer that, but I would have to violate the judge's order.
Okay. Did you actually ever see the truck with your own eyes? Or did you see it depicted in photographs?
Depicted in photographs.
Okay, that's it. Are you aware that the district attorney's office during your investigation went out and did an audit of the timing on the computer that is reflective on all of these videos kept by Southside Flats?
Yes.
And are you aware that the time is off by about 3 minutes and 25 seconds on the videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when it says, when this photograph in States Exhibit 42 shows a vehicle looking like Mr. John's coming in at 21:24, with that adjustment, we're talking about 9:27 p.m. coming in.
Correct.
Again, is that also consistent with the time that is recorded on the garage entry for the gate for Mr. John's entry?
It is.
And is it also very consistent with the lock audit time showing when he got to his apartment at 9:34?
Correct. Yes, it is.
Are you very comfortable with that these times are reliable?
Yes.
When it comes to the white pickup truck entering at 21:42 with the addition of the 3.5 minutes, you're looking at about 21:46 or 9:46 in the evening, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If Ms. Guyger's truck is going in at about 9:46 to 9:47 p.m., and another vehicle goes in at 9:54 p.m. and her vehicle ends up behind his, is it reasonable that her vehicle pulled off at some point in that garage?
Yes.
I'm going to offer States Exhibits 42 through 46.
You say 42 through 46?
I may have made a mistake, Judge. 42 through 49, I apologize.
No objection.
32 minutes.
Judge, can I publish?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
All right, States Exhibit number 42. In your estimation, whose car is that coming in as reflected at 9:24, but more likely 9:27?
Mr. Johns.
At 9:25, probably more accurate, 9:28 or so, whose vehicle is that?
Mr. Johns.
Okay, going through the parking gate?
Yes, sir.
That's just another depiction of it.
Yes, sir.
9:42 adjusted to 9:46, 9:47 PM. Is that Amber Guyger, the defendant's vehicle?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I must be getting tired. That's going to be State's Exhibit number 46. Is that correct? I represent that State's Exhibit 46.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and prior to that, the picture of Mr. John's car going in is going to be State's Exhibit number 45. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit number 48, does that show the white pickup truck going into the gated part?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you actually seen the video?
Yes, I have.
Okay, can you explain to the jury why Amber Guyger, the defendant's pickup truck, is able to go through there, but yet it's not recorded on the garage access report?
Yes, the gate had already been opened by somebody else, either through walking through an open gate or a vehicle leaving or going in. And there's a delay in the gate closing between traffic going through it. And I believe she just drove through an open gate instead of having to stop, use her key fob, and go through that way.
Okay. So I'm going to come back to State's Exhibit number 48, but I want to show you what's already in evidence as State's Exhibit number 260. If this particular vehicle belonged to a gentleman named Ronald Jones, who saw Amber Guyger pull in and park, she came in behind him and pulled in and parked. And this was 7 minutes after she entered the parking garage, he enters the parking garage. Would that also, again, be indicative that at some point she pulled off after entering the parking garage and before she parked on the fourth floor?
I believe so.
Your Honor, this time I'm also going to offer State's Exhibit number 50, which is just going to be the video from which these still shots were derived, showing the entrance of the vehicle contained in State's Exhibits, I believe it's 42 through 49.
As both Mr. Johns and Ms. Guyger's vehicles.
Yes.
Is it just limited to that?
Yes.
No objection to that?
It's admitted.
On the understanding, it's limited to those events that were just described.
I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and just publish them, Judge. So these,
Thank you. It's admitted.
all right, Your Honor, for publication, this time I'm publishing channel 15. All right, Ranger, is that going to be the vehicle that you've previously identified as being Mr. Jean's car?
Yes.
And that's him coming into the carport, either at 2124 or 2127 with the adjustment?
Yes, sir.
Publishing channel 10, again showing 2124, which would be 927, 928 with the adjustment. Is this going to be Mr. Jean's vehicle entering into the parking garage?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm publishing channel 15 as it relates to Amber Guyger's vehicle. Timestamp being 2142, again with the adjustment being 2145, 2146. recognize that as your vehicle?
I do, yes, sir.
And then the channel 15, or pardon me, the channel 10 aspect of that same thing, showing her eventual entry into the parking garage through the gates.
Yes, sir, that's her vehicle.
All right, and that's going to be depicted, that's going to be the video recording in State's Exhibit number 50. Okay, is that accurate, Mr. or Ranger Armstrong?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you went into, on the 8th now, right? Was the 8th the first time that you went into Mr. John's apartment?
Yes, it was.
All right, tell me what your observations were as far as the condition of the apartment and whether or not did you notice any particular aromas?
I noticed that obviously a crime scene investigation had already been conducted. I observed that things had been moved around from some of the pictures that I had already seen of the crime scene prior to my arrival, and I did smell the odor of marijuana in the apartment.
So even a couple of days later, the smell of marijuana still was inside the apartment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you said that items had been moved around, can you tell me what you mean by that?
I believe the circular ottoman, for lack of a better term, it looked like it had been pushed further towards the back wall where the patio door was. And from the body-worn camera footage that I'd seen and photos, it was obvious that it was moved during life-saving measures being taken or being given to Mr. John.
Okay, so using the body-worn camera, you were able to ascertain that probably the ottoman had been pushed back towards the back wall from where it was when officers originally entered.
Correct.
All right, what about other items of furniture? Did you notice anything that may be important to this case having been moved?
Yes, there's a wooden stool directly in front of the bar, which was where the kitchen sink was, and it had been knocked over, and there was also an ironing board that had been moved as well. According to the body-worn camera footage that I'd seen, when the ironing board was moved out of the way during those life-saving measures being given by DPD and DFR, the wooden stool was knocked over, and I noticed those from the video as well, the differences.
Right, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that having happened, right?
Correct.
Preservation and continuation of life is the first priority. Crime scene integrity, to the extent that it has to change somewhat, it just has to take a second seat. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And at least though with the body-worn camera, you had a little bit of a better depiction of where things were, as opposed to maybe where crime scene photographs taken later might depict them today.
Correct.
Okay. When you went out there though on September the 8th, did you do a video recording inside Mr. Jean's apartment where you walked from room to room and you just kind of a general crime scene layout, starting in the kitchen area, going to the dining room area, bedroom, bathroom, and then back?
Yes. Excuse me. Ranger Claude Daniel assisted me with that. He actually took the video footage. I walked with him to ensure that everything that we needed captured was captured on the video.
And who all was out there with you that particular evening?
Ranger Claude Daniel, Ranger Chad Matlock, and DA Investigator Tommy Lenore.
Okay, you are, may I approach the witness stand?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's marked for identification as state exhibit number 51. Is this going to be the video recording depicted as MVI_0001, the videotape of 1478, apartment 1478 on September the 8th, 2018.
I believe so, yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to offer state's exhibit number 51.
No objection.
It's admitted.
And Randy, this is going to be the apartment as it existed again. We've already, I appreciate you letting the jury know, this isn't going to be at, 2 days, almost 2 days after the situation, where stuff had been moved after the event as part of the life-saving measures and as part of the crime scene processing by Dallas Police Department 2 days before. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, may I publish?
Yes, please.
September 8th, 2018, we are at 122 South Lamar Street, apartment 1478, for documentation of the service of the subsequent search warrant at 9:15 p.m.
Now, the room that you're going into right now off the living room, is that going to be Mr. Jean's bedroom?
Yes,
And after you do the bedroom, do you go into his bathroom and into his closet?
yes.
Is there anything of any evidentiary value, in your opinion, to the bedroom or the bathroom area?
No, sir.
For what's left of his privacy, it's not going to play unless you see a need to.
I don't.
All right, I do want to go back, though. Judge, I don't need the lights to be reduced. Thank you for that, though. Right here at the very end of where I stopped publishing it. I want to pause right there. I believe that is 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Do you see that particular bowl of food sitting on his, well, you see a bowl sitting on his arm?
I do.
What is it based on your actually having seen that with your own eyes? What do you believe that to be?
I learned that it was ice cream. I had no way of testing it to know exactly. I did not know what it was at the time, but I learned that it was ice cream later on.
Did you know what was kind of crumbled in there?
I believe cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies?
I believe so.
Was chocolate chip cookies found on his kitchen counter?
I'd have to take another look at it.
Okay. That ottoman, as you testified to earlier, was actually, as the jury is looking at it right now, from the body-worn camera, was actually more up this way, correct? In other words, it was going in this direction before this particular day, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Somehow it got moved back to here during the CPR resuscitative efforts.
Yes, sir.
I want to pause at 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Having looked at the body-worn camera and the crime scene photographs of the Dallas Police Department, did it appear that Mr. Jean's TV was on that evening?
Yes,
Okay. In his closet, did he still have the box for that TV?
he did.
Do you remember what size the TV was?
That's 50-inch.
A 50-inch LED television?
Yes, sir.
In addition to the 50-inch TV, did he have any other light sources on as depicted from the body-worn camera, like it was his laptop on?
It was.
And his laptop, was that also located on the ottoman as well?
It was.
Now, Mr. Jean had some prescription medication on his counter. Did you, as part of your investigation, learn what that was treating him for?
Yes, sir, I did.
What was it?
His wisdom, excuse me, his wisdom tooth removal.
And had you learned that this was the first night that he had been cleared to actually eat ice cream?
Yes.
All right, I'm showing those are marked for identification as State's Exhibit number 256 and 257. These are from one of the various body-worn cameras of the Dallas police officers responding to the scene. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know which one of the body-worn cameras. It's really immaterial for our purposes. Do these photographs fairly and accurately depict the location of the light switches just inside the door to Botham Jean's apartment?
Yes.
All right. I'll offer State's Exhibit number 256 and 257.
No objection.
No objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. There's the hold it minute.
Permission to publish, Judge?
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 256. I'm going to show the light switch array immediately inside the front door to apartment 1478.
Yes.
And are there a number of light switches which will be available as depicted in State's Exhibit number 257?
Yes.
It looks like 4 different switches located along that entire small half, 3-foot, 2 3-foot wall. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Want to go back if I could put it back on the TV. Returning again to States Exhibit number 50 in just a moment. All right, publishing again, starting at about 118. Stopping publication at 153. Are those ear pods?
Yes, they are.
Stopping publication at 205. Do you see what looks like a blue blanket here at the end of the couch?
I do.
And in the original body-worn cameras, do you recall the pillows being situated here and that blanket being situated in this seat?
I do.
So the blanket also has been moved. The pillows seem to be in the same general location.
Yes, sir.
But the original crime scene depiction of the body-worn cameras shows the center cushion to have been empty. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you notice any kind of forced entry to the front door?
I did not.
Just a moment, Robert.
Okay, well, Mr. Hermes, you can have more than a moment. We're going to recess for today. Ladies and gentlemen, you should have no means of viewing any media, but if perchance, don't watch it, read it, or listen to it. We will resume again tomorrow morning at 8:30.
All right.
Sorry, Judge.
That's not you, it's me.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's me cutting it off.